Alrighty, it's about 10:30, about to teach a gi class. Just ate a complete cookie. Middle of a cut. We have Aiga trials in 2 weeks, the Vanguard team. So not eating too much, training a lot. So I'm gonna teach the gi class. We're gonna train at noon. Drink a ton of caffeine as usual to make sure I don't get hungry. And then, yeah, let's get to it. So I'm stepping towards the collar first. Now I step back towards the arm. Arm goes through his legs, and I open up the space for my head. Now I switch, left arm through, head in front, and I have my single. We just typically don't want to stay head to the outside too often, right? Especially in the ego, the collar chokes, right? So we're gonna go head to the inside as soon as possible. Yeah, so initially I'm keeping my right ear on him with my right arm through. Then I'm going to switch my left arm through, my left ear to his ribs, and then we have the leg. Yeah, it's a quick switch there. If he didn't overhook my arm, so if you don't, if he doesn't overhook my arm, I'm going to come all the way out to his back, right? So almost the same thing to go down to his ankle. I'm going to pass it to my hip here. So I'm holding on to his ankle. I'm going to pass it to my hip. It makes it really uncomfortable to hold on. The wizard will probably let go, right? Now once I'm here, I can do a number of things. I'll probably just hold on to the shin, right? I'll punch my arms through. We'll end up behind him. I pass it to my hip, and now we end up behind our training partner. So here's me and Fabian working close guard rounds. These are pretty specific rounds here, right? Fabian's only job is to control, submit, and sweep me from here. My only job is to escape the close guard, right? So if I end up in a standing position, right, it's not a continued passing round. Right? I'm not trying to pass the open guard. I'm only trying to escape the close guard. So really emphasizes, I feel like a lot of people use close guard a little too often to get to the legs. So this is pretty helpful here for us, just working on control and upper body submissions. So you see Fabian's climbing my upper body here, attempting to use a good underhook on his left side, using legs, right, tried to sweep. I was able to high leg out each time. Right, my turn on bottom. You'll see right away, keeping my knees to my chest, right? Fabian's keeping his hands relatively outside of my hips, which makes it very difficult for me to cut angles. Right, he plays between a few different ways. Right now he's using his knee for the same thing outside my hip to stop me from cutting an angle in that direction. Same with his left, right? I go for a right hand ankle, right? This is what I like to do a lot, scooping the far side ankle. It can be difficult to do, especially Fabian's still kind of blocking my hip on that side. Right, I switch to the opposite scoop. All right, we end up kind of just like stagnant here for a second. All right, my whole idea here is just to constantly off balance him. I believe I'm going to start climbing my legs up a little higher here in a second, but Fabian does a good job kind of stopping that just from his elbow positioning. Here, start to play some little 10 planet stuff, overhooking my leg, right? Trying to, again, climb high up on the guard. He's able to posture up a little bit more. I try the same thing again. I have a strong 2-on-1, then to a 1-on-1 on my left side. Still trying to scoop the far leg, but he does a good job stepping back. So really reaching for it. I think this is where he escapes. I could be wrong, though. So I scoop the leg. He He locks almost a body lock from here, which typically is frowned upon, but at least stopped me from getting a strong grip on that far ankle for now. Really wanted that near side armbar that time. Right, this is where he escapes. Begins to posture up. I try to go K-guard just to get to his legs for now. Right, and then he just begins to stuff my legs, and he's out. Fabian again on bottom. 2-on-1 from here. Goes to pass the arm. That's kind of the grip we worked on today, that 2-on-1, but it's difficult to do because I cross-shoulder posted him. Right, now he's scooping my leg, and then immediately just throwing my arms free once he goes for any sort of upper body attack here. My last turn on bottom. I believe during this round I do a good job at some point getting to like a pinch headlock position, but I couldn't do much with it. Fabian's got some pretty good defense, especially, you know, we both have relatively short limbs, so it's easy to free those arms from there. Same thing, knees to chest. That's where I find that left arm underhook, pinch headlock, my right arm reaching high and upward over the head there. Fabian thumb posts at my armpit here, which makes it annoying to try and really cut any angles. His right knee, you can't really see from here, is also blocking my hip, so I couldn't get to his back from here like I'd like to. Same thing, 2-on-1. I'm crossing my thumbs, attempted a scissor sweep. I should have extended them more first, but this 2-on-1 I'm using here is really, really important because I'm crossing my thumbs, right, and overlapping my fingers. Makes a super, super strong 2-on-1 versus a, you know, regular like baseball bat kind of grip here, right? Even though Fabian is able to still back away, right, since we're just working close guard, I didn't want to try and wrestle up or anything like that, just trying to keep him in close guard using close guard submissions and sweeps.
Okay, go.
Alright, ready? So anytime we're in this cross grip here, let's control the elbow, and I look to like threaten this both like the K guard and this toe guard at the same time. So I'm looking for this K guard scoop as I sink my leg through here. Now depending on the reaction I get, sometimes I go straight to his arm and I can get a strong 2-on-1 and finish the arm bar from here, right? Otherwise, sometimes he's able to free his arm, immediately able to 2-on-1 the knee, right? Looking to then pass the leg over the head, or entering the 50-50 situations, right? Attacking legs from here.
All right, so we finished the noon session. We immediately afterwards got to jump in the sauna, which is pretty sick. The sauna is about 190, I think. Stayed in there about 15-20 minutes, immediately jumped into an ice bath. Ice bath's, you know, about 32 degrees. Stayed in there a little over 2 minutes. That was awesome. Shout out to Tim, who let us use his stuff. It's really been helping recovery-wise and just getting the right headspace, right, getting ready to compete. So, cool. Gonna run home, grab some food, hang out with the kiddo, and yeah, we'll be back to the 6 o'clock. We're off to training session number 2, 6 o'clock class. Pretty sure Jason's teaching. So got that. I ate a little bit for lunch. Close. Had a Rice Krispie treat off camera. And now I got a banana, right? Got a Celsius, and we're set, ready to go. All right, see you there. So, just some things that are on my mind in terms of competition for Jiu-Jitsu, diet-wise. Just thinking about how far behind Jiu-Jitsu really is compared to really any other pro-level sport, you know. Things in terms of training protocol, whether it's strength training, right? Actually programming your jiu-jitsu training is pretty far behind. You know, you've got some guys that are really starting to do a better job programming and becoming good coaches for their athletes, but a lot of times it really is the athlete's responsibility. To really take control of their own protocol. Same with diet as well. There's a lot of, you know, just BS in general in the jiu-jitsu community in terms of diet. You know, you get all these guys still doing keto as an athlete. That's a terrible idea. You know, just not having any carbs in your system as an athlete's a terrible idea. You know, you got guys like the fight dietitian doing a pretty good job kind of dispelling all that misinformation around athletes, which is really important. So one thing that I've really done a better job this weight cut, at least, is just fixing my macros, the amount of calories I need, and taking water obviously is always important. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot right now where I'm dropping weight pretty steadily. I have my whoop strap on 24/7, burning anywhere from 2,300 to 3,100 calories a day, and taking around 1,600 calories a day. Protein's much lower than I've always had it. So most of my, I guess, knowledge on diet and strength training mainly comes from bodybuilding, because I feel like that's the most available information, especially, you know, fitness culture. For the most part, it's based towards bodybuilding. It's the most accessible sort of information you can find. You know, obviously you get guys like Sam Solik, who's become a massive influencer, and then you got C-Bum as well. So that's, you know, majority of information I've always intook was for that, and trying to figure out how to adjust it, you know, without being a nutritionist and that sort of thing. It's been difficult, but I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. I'm lucky to have a lot of really intelligent friends, strength conditioning coaches, guys who are really good with nutrition. So just things of that sort has been really, really good. I believe my protein's somewhere around, I want to say it's 115. I forget exactly. It's about 115. The fats are at like 35 grams. Carbs, I think, are at 250. Whereas I've always had an absurd amount of protein in my diet. And I've gone through some extreme bulks, you know, I yo-yo diet a lot. So my heaviest I was this past January. I was 192. Was this past January or was that before? Oh, at some point. I was 192, right? I was the biggest I've ever been. Now, it's probably the smallest I've been outside of the weight cut that I missed for East Coast trials last time around. I was doing a lot of things wrong in terms of cutting weight. I just was, you know, thinking if I have more protein, I'll be less hungry, but my carbs are super low, so my training really felt terrible, which sucked. And then the whole thing with water cutting, I've learned a lot more about. I missed weight by 3 pounds last time. I'd cut something like 17 pounds in a relatively short period of time. Not fun. I'll probably insert a picture somewhere on the screen of me cutting weight, just looking like a skeleton. Not a fun time, but I'm already lighter than I was before I started that cut, and I'm cutting even lighter than that. I'm supposed to make 146, 147, or something around that. I have to make 142 this time. This will be my first time making that weight. Honestly, in a very, very long time. I haven't been 142 in quite a bit. I was 145 not long ago for HCS, Hammer Challenge Series, which is in New Jersey. I won the $1,000 prize there after 3 matches. I had a pretty good show out there, but kind of got off track there. But for the most part, really would be nice just to have a little more information in the jiu-jitsu community. You know, the majority of us are just, you know, broke athletes, kind of figuring everything out ourselves. And if you're lucky to have good coaches around you, and I'm lucky to have coaches like Jason Rao, who knows everything you need to do for jiu-jitsu, right? Jason Rao, Nick Ronan, just surrounded by all these guys. It's a, you know, short drive to go train with John Calistine. one of the best athletes I've ever trained with. JT Torres is not far away as well. I spent a good portion of the last ADCC camp there with him. That was phenomenal. Some of the hardest training I've ever gotten into. So luckily, you know, that's really why I haven't wanted to ever leave Long Island, just because of the assets that I have here. For me to move to somewhere like Kentucky where my family lives is impossible for jiu-jitsu. You know, it's just not something that makes too much sense. As much as I love everyone in Kentucky, there's just not much access to people for jiu-jitsu there. So obviously studies come out all the time. Keep doing research, trying to educate myself, because the goal is to become, you know, one of the best coaches in the world. Obviously I want to do big things competitively as an athlete, but the more information I can take in, whether it's, you know, jiu-jitsu technique, whether it's information from other sports, it's really important. Even something as you know, trivial as something like chess, tennis, strategies where it's these sports that are one-on-one, a lot of it does go into it. You look at the way any other field sport athlete trains is very, very different than, you know, a jiu-jitsu athlete. Even MMA is slowly making its way into that more, I'd say educated realm of an athlete. Still nowhere close to where it should be. You still got a lot of guys just doing really dumb things. I think a lot of it does stem from like a wrestling culture in the US here. Like, it does kind of just part of being tough. But we'll see. We'll see how it gets. You know, I'm hoping jiu-jitsu really does start to explode over the next handful of years. You know, especially as I go into my, you know, full-time coaching and out of an athlete. You know, I can't train forever. I'm 24 now, so obviously I have plenty of time. But that would be the goal. It's just to become a phenomenal coach. I'm already getting tons of coaching hours right now as a younger brown belt. By the time I have my black belt, you know, have my own gym, have consistent students. So I've taught at multiple gyms before, taught all ages. Just to have a good amount of experience teaching is extremely important. One other little side note before we get to the gym. One thing I find in jiu-jitsu is this big gap with coaches is they're not as well-rounded as they should be in terms of coaching, right? I find they're often either extremely technical or they're extremely tactical. Sorry. It's one of the two, right? You get the guys that are so focused on technique and it really works, right? Their technical advice, guys like Gordon, some of the best jiu-jitsu on the planet, but he had to develop his own tactics. John is not that big into the tactics of the sport as far as I'm aware. He's mainly just teaches good jiu-jitsu, you know, which is great. And then you get the guys like, say the fight sports guys, even the Atos guys. Not to say they don't have jiu-jitsu, right? They learn jiu-jitsu for sure. All right, this camera's making me go blind here in the sun. Not to say they don't have good jiu-jitsu. They win stuff. They have good jiu-jitsu, but it's not the most technical. You know, they're not sitting there, you know, going over every little detail the way a lot of these guys are. So we get to the point 10 years from now, maybe, we get all these coaches that are not just super tactical or super technical, they're both. They're able to break down into the small fragments and details of these techniques, as well as just know when the right and wrong things are needed to be done or not done, you know? So that's my little spiel for the day. We got class at 6 o'clock, so it's 5:30 now. Just be at the gym, hopefully 15, 20 minutes. We'll get a class in with Jason. We'll see who's gonna show. I know Ronan showed some closed guard this morning. Didn't really show too much of that today in the videos. Really wanted the 12 o'clock session just to be focused on me, just to train hard. Got some good rounds at good competition rounds. Really need to start dialing stuff in for this event. This is going to be a really big event. A lot of the best guys are in it. As of right now, it's us, a team Vanguard. We have a handful of not Vanguard guys in it, like Josh Saunders, Sean Yanni Marco, Dave Stoyle. So there's us. There's Team 10 Planet, which I'm assuming is the headquarters location. So I'm sure it's a lot of their good guys. I know like Andy Varilla's on it. There's Team Fight Sports. There's Team Finishers. So I know Zach Mazzani's heading that. So you get guys like Renee Sosa in it. I'm sure they'll have a decent squad. Decent amount of teams. I'm not sure how many's going to be total. I know there's 5 teams currently picked out. So we'll see. We'll see how many teams are in. Whoever wins this goes to Worlds, which is in Kazakhstan. That would be sick. Go eat some horse meat. Friend wouldn't like that very much. She owns a horse and she's been riding horses her whole life. So if I do get to eat horse meat, I can't tell her that I did. So I've heard it's good, but really tough. We'll see. Yeah, I'll see you at class. Okay.
Like your size. I'm like, you don't even exactly. It's just nice. Either that, or when you start a certain view, you go left hand on the X, so it could be like right down. Right hand, you can circle around, and touch your top.
Alright, so that's training for the day. Didn't get too much training footage today. I'll start putting more of that in there. Especially for right now, just really want to focus on training more so. Not so much, you know, obviously I'm doing the vlog and stuff. But with the weight cut, it's hard. I'll start bringing my vlog camera, setting it up more often. Actually getting good footage of training. At least, you know, 1 or 2 rounds. Just some actual jiu-jitsu content for you guys to watch besides just drilling and, you know, like 1 or 2 positional rounds. Definitely put some comp training in there as well. But today was good. 2 pretty good sessions. We worked a lot of closed guard this morning. Essentially just working various arm attacks, top locks, stuff like that. Jason showed a lot of really good passing scenarios from the knee shield tonight. So we got a really good combination of both guard play and guard passing, which is awesome. Really good for going into our teammates that are going into Aiga to score, and then the handful of our guys that are going into Pan Americans the same weekend. So that'll be fun. We have a really solid crew going into both events, so I'm super excited to see how everyone does. Win or lose, everyone's training super hard, which is awesome. Outside of that, not too much else. I'm gonna go home, make some food. I will. I'll take you guys along for that, so you guys actually can see me cooking a little bit more. And I'll put the macros and stuff in for what I'm about to make for dinner tonight. It's honestly been a pretty sick meal. I kind of got the idea of burgers off of another YouTube content creator. Can't think of his name right now. Blonde chef guy. I don't know, he made a whole thing about cutting weight, the types of food he was making, but essentially made these smash burgers relatively low calorie. And I'm kind of doing the same thing. These chicken sandwiches I'm making are pretty low calorie. They're white meat, you know, ground chicken sandwiches that are, I want to say they've been coming out to around 190 to 200 calories for each. Like I said, I'll put the exact macros and stuff for them, but that should put me at just about 1,700 and change for the day, intake wise. And then I'll also share what I've been burning calorie wise. You guys can see like my workouts and stuff like that I've been doing throughout the day, and just how I'm kind of figuring out how many calories to eat. I'm in a pretty significant calorie deficit right now. It's been, I believe yesterday I was like 1,200 under. Like I burned around 3,100 calories, and I ate around, I don't even know, I think it was the same, around 1,700 calories. So it was pretty significant. But I still feel pretty good. Honestly, it's the best I've felt in a long time. So pretty excited to see how the competition goes. All right, I'll see you in the kitchen. What kind of bread was it? I may.
For anyone, like what percentage body weight is at that point?
I have no the amount for long-term damage.
And then like with the day or two free run, then Katie was like, "Oh, use this as your trial run with him to see if it's a good fit."
Do a quick check on the weight. See what we're at. 58.8. Nice. Cool. Getting there. Getting there.